Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about a common mistake that I see in English, and it is apostrophes, the correct use of apostrophes. And to be fair, this is a mistake that I see with people who are learning English, but also with a lot of native speakers. And so if you're learning the language and you make a lot of mistakes with apostrophes, or you are a little bit confused about apostrophes, apparently it's a very common mistake. And basically, there are two common situations in which it is correct to use apostrophes. Number one, contractions. So in English, we very often combine words, or specifically, we combine verbs with pronouns, or we combine auxiliary verbs with the word not to form just one word. This is called contraction. For example, the word don't is a combination of the word do, not. And when we contract words, it is necessary to use an apostrophe. So in this particular case, between the N and the T, we use an apostrophe to indicate that a letter has been eliminated and that the two words have been combined. So I don't like horror movies. Similarly, in the second sentence, Karen's a doctor. In this particular sentence, Karen's represents Karen is a doctor, and so we use an apostrophe to indicate this contraction. And in the final sentence, he's been here many times. Same thing. He's represents he has been here many times, and we indicate that contraction with an apostrophe between the E and the S. The second use of the apostrophe is to indicate possession. So in the same way that I can use the adjectives my, your, his to indicate possession, my dog, my name, my neighbor, I can also use an apostrophe S after a specific noun to indicate possession. So for example, Karen's dog is beautiful. My dog is beautiful. Karen's dog is beautiful. The apostrophe S is indicating possession. And the same thing in this particular sentence, my sister's name is Anna. My sister's indicating possession. However, I noticed that the majority of mistakes are not actually related to these particular examples, but rather the common mistake seems to be that people use apostrophes excessively, that they use apostrophes where it is not correct to use an apostrophe. And I think part of the problem is that in the last example that we saw, we use an apostrophe S to indicate possession. And so a lot of people have associated the letter S in general with an apostrophe. So they see the letter S and they assume that you need an apostrophe before the letter S. And that's not the case. So for example, in the simple present, verbs, you add an S to a verb in the simple present if the subject is he, she, or it, third person singular. But just an S, there is no apostrophe. So she lives far from here, or my dad works in a factory. Similarly, we also use the letter S to transform the majority of nouns from singular to plural. So for example, chair, chairs, dog, dogs, room, rooms. But again, it's only an S, there is no apostrophe. So there are 3 rooms in the apartment. Rooms with no apostrophe. And I find that this particular mistake is particularly common when you're talking about nouns that represent abbreviations. So for example, CDs. Which is CD is an abbreviation for compact disc. And for whatever reason, people see this abbreviation and they put an apostrophe. But CDs is just a plural form of CD, so the apostrophe is incorrect. CDs, MP3s, TVs without any apostrophe. So for example, CDs became popular in the 90s. And again, pay attention to 90s. There is no apostrophe in 90s or 80s or 70s to refer to a particular time period. So we have the S, but there is no apostrophe. And to summarize then, basically there are two situations where it is correct to use the apostrophe. When we have contractions or when you are expressing possession.